Let's go back to the beginning. Elaine and Jared are traveling by airplane to Los Angeles. They are sponsored by Jared's friend Terry, who will celebrate his birthday in his apartment. Elaine wasn't feeling great when the airplane touched down at Los Angeles airport, and it worried Jared, but they brushed it out. They were greeted by Terry's driver, who drove them to Terry's building. The couple arrived at Terry's place and greeted each other warmly. Terry toured Jared and Elaine around the building by the pool while drinking cocktails and alcohol. They get to know each other first before the party night starts. Night has come, and people are flocking around Terry's apartment. People greeted Terry while drinking and having a good time. While people were chilling in Terry's place, he noticed Ray and called him out. Ray is Terry's partner in their robot fight business. Jared introduced himself and his girlfriend to Ray. As Ray introduced himself too, he mentioned that he was excited to have Jared in their crew. This made Jared and Elaine confused about what was happening, but Elaine didn't like the idea of them moving to the city. Terry excused the confused Jared and told him he was planning on taking Jared to work as a computer nerd. Jared isn't ready to take such a big step, considering how Elaine reacted. Terry's assistant informed him that he got a call, to which he excused himself. After that, Jared looked for Elaine and found her in the bathroom. Jared was confused why Elaine was reacting that way. For them not to argue more, Elaine confessed to Jared that she was pregnant. Jared is speechless and cannot find the right word. Later, Jared told Elaine that he was not ready to take on such responsibility, considering that he had the decision to make regarding Terry's offer. Elaine was offended because she was also unprepared but couldn't do anything about it. Terry and Denise went out of the bathroom shower in the middle of Elaine and Jared's conversation. Terry heard everything and felt awkward about it. While arguing about their future, Terry's guests are having a great time spying on people from the other building with a telescope. After they see that the guy they're spying on is gay, the room is filled with shock and yells about the revelation. Terry's girlfriend, Candace, thinks they are immature and don't really enjoy their work. A minute later, the apartment's caretaker rang the doorbell. Candace took the door and talked to the caretaker. The caretaker, Oliver, is getting complaints from the other tenant that Terry's party is too noisy. Candace responded stoically and brushed it off. After the party, Colin, one of Terry's guests, and Denise are passed out on the couch. As they get ready to sleep, Terry puts the blind on the apartment's window. Around 4 a.m., strange lights and objects fell from the sky, which caused panic among the people. Elaine woke up thinking it was already morning, but it was actually the blue light from their window. There was also a shake throughout the building, which also woke Ray. Ray saw the strange light outside and started to panic. He opened one part of the blind and saw the light as it was. He was lured, his skin started to burn, and his eyes turned white, nearly dead. Denise saw the happening and screamed in fear for Ray. Her scream woke Terry and her girlfriend as Jared rushed to the living room. As soon as Jared saw the light, he was lured to it, and his skin started to burn, just like what happened to Ray. Jared approached the light, but thankfully Terry was there to stop him. They suddenly disappear, and Jared's burned skin slowly returned to normal. Terry asked Denise where Ray went, but Denise could not answer him properly and only said that Ray had disappeared into the light. Terry was confused about the happening and saw that weird things were happening outside. He closed the blinds and checked up on Jared. Jared, on the other hand, is slowly recovering and feeling dizzy. After he calmed down, Jared described the feeling that he was getting pulled by the light, but they can't stay calm since there's something in the city ground. Terry is curious about the happenings outside and brings out his gun while Jared brings a camera to capture everything. They are carefully finding their way to the rooftop while the ladies stay in the apartment, looking for clues on the internet and the news, but nothing since 4 a.m. Jared and Terry arrived at the rooftop and saw people in the other building too. Not only that, but they also saw lights and blue objects falling from the sky. Jared took a picture of the light until they saw a bunch of spaceships hovering in multiple areas in the city while sucking out humans. One of the spaceships is close to them, so they need to get inside quickly. But the door was locked. Fortunately, Elaine was there to open it, but he accidentally watched the light. Her skin burned, and Jared pulled her out of there. They quickly returned to the apartment and calmed Elaine when she noticed Jared's skin had a burning mark. Elaine assumed that Jared looked too, but it was when he accidentally looked at the light earlier. After they all calmed down, they huddled at the table and looked at the picture Jared had taken. The picture of the spaceship and the people getting sucked into it was unbelievable to them. After a while, Terry had an idea and visited his neighbor Walt. Meanwhile, Candace saw something vulgar on the camera too. It was a picture of Terry and Denise kissing. On the other hand, Jared went to the bathroom to check his side rib because it was hurting. The burn was slowly spreading into his body, taking control of him. Elaine noticed his strange behavior of Jared, but didn't pay much attention to him because he shooed her away. Meanwhile, as Terry broke into Walt's apartment, he saw him hiding behind the counter. Terry wanted to get him out of there. Still, Walt is stubborn to refuse until an alien appears on the patio, scanning for humans with his lit tentacles. Walt's dog started barking furiously after the alien took them by surprise. Walt could not leave his pet and went after it. This cost him his life. Terry was terrified and panicky and fired at the alien. While the alien was busy with Walt, Terry ran out and returned to his apartment. After he returned, he explained to them that Walt had been taken by an alien with tentacles. Due to panic, they decided to get out of there before the alien got them. But Elaine opposed this idea, given that they don't know what is out there. They debated the idea but were interrupted when the blinds went up because of the timer. They quickly hid on the sofa and kitchen counter. The tentacled alien showed up and scanned the place but later went away. Because of that, they are certain to get out of the place and travel into the water because they think it is safe outside the city. As they drove down the parking area, they saw a couple getting ready to leave with their car. After the gate opened in the parking area, Terry rushed outside but was quickly stopped by an alien with a stomp on their feet. The big alien crushed the car and Terry fell. He defended himself with a gun, but it didn't even scratch the alien. Jared helped Terry to run away from the exit, but tentacle-like arms grabbed Terry's back and dragged him away from Jared. As Jared returned to the car, Candice drove inside the parking area. They waited impatiently for the gate to open. Still, shockingly, the tentacle-like alien that killed Walt was waiting on the other side, so they had to run away from it quickly. The couple earlier was caught in the middle, and the guy was lured by the light. They went to the elevator area, but it took too long to open. The alien was closing in, and Jared was lured by the light again. That's when Oliver, the caretaker, crashed his car into the alien and killed it. The woman saw that her husband was alive inside the alien, but before they could even take him out, he was grabbed by the head, and his brain was sucked into the tentacle. The alien used the brain to revive itself and chase them down again, but the group came out and ran to the other building for shelter. They were in the big part of the building's lounge pool when they were chased by a massive alien. The woman, unfortunately, got caught as they continued to run for shelter. Oliver took them back to their apartment and stayed there for good. Jared and Candice were feeling stressed and sad about the loss of Terry. Jared was trembling in fear and guilt for not saving his friend. Meanwhile, Elaine was upset because they wouldn't lose them if they listened to her. To snap back everyone, Oliver stayed calm. He ordered Jared to carry the heavy washing machine to cover the front door. After that, Oliver pushed Jared to the wall and told him he should be strong. After talking to Jared, Oliver checked up on the lady and told them they should stay and pray for someone to rescue them. As silence enveloped the room, Candice couldn't help but smoke out all the stress. Elaine noticed the smoke and walked away from them. Oliver didn't like it and said it would be better if they stayed together. But Elaine simply pointed out the smoke. Candice was offended, and with that, Elaine confessed to them that she was pregnant. Elaine further explained that she'd been stressed and couldn't take it much more. Jared comforted her in her arms as Elaine cried because she didn't get to tell her mom. Candice then realized and softened up, so she stopped smoking and cried. Oliver instructed that they should get some sleep as he and Jared would watch over them. The night comes and the city is deserted. Not a single soul can be seen in the streets, even in the other building. Jared still can't believe what's happening because it seems surreal. But Oliver told him they were now at the breaking point and needed to survive because not many people would be left. A gun interrupted Jared and Oliver's deep talk. Oliver hurriedly looked at the telescope and found the military fighting back. It was a truck with guns that fought back the big aliens. Oliver checked if the mothership was destroyed, but it wasn't, so they had no choice but to stay and survive. Morning came fast and Jared didn't get to sleep at all. Elaine asked him if the burn was getting worse, and it did. Elaine and Jared talked about the feeling when they were pulled by the blue light. Elaine explained that the aliens knew what they did to them and left them as it is. It seems suspicious, but they don't have a clear answer or solution. Oliver stayed quiet and listened to their conversation. Hours passed by, and they remained at the apartment without eating. After those hours, Jared goes to the bathroom to do his business, but no water was flowing to the faucets and it pissed him. He looked in the mirror and saw that the mark continued to spread into his body. After he went out, Jared acted differently and weirdly. Oliver noticed it and sat on the couch, ready to listen to whatever Jared said. Jared then explained that the boat was their only way to escape there. Oliver and Candice didn't like the idea, especially from what happened last time. But Jared is very stubborn and arrogant to listen to them. He is slowly getting paranoid and desperate to get out of there, even without a plan. Oliver asked him how certain he was that anywhere aside from the city was the safest. The debate was then interrupted when they heard the sound of jets. They noticed all the other alien ships had left, except one large one hovering over downtown Los Angeles. As they are watching with tension, Oliver handles the telescope and the others watch on the flat-screen TV. The aliens are the target of a counterattack by the US Air Force. They observe a big squadron of a few dozen unmanned Predator drones, each equipped with air-to-air Sidewinder missiles, escorting a few unmanned stealth bomber drones as they approach the mothership, a massive hovering alien spaceship. There is a massive aerial fight between Predator and stealth drones as hundreds of alien drones emerge from the alien spacecraft. The group sees that the flying alien Matrix S drones do not appear to have any weaponry, such as laser guns or missiles, yet they seem to crash themselves into the unmanned aircraft with little to no regard for their own well-being. Several Predator, stealth, and alien drones are destroyed. Most of the stealth bombers and Predator drones are killed during the duel. Still, one survivor manages to launch a missile at the alien ship before it is destroyed. With that hit from one of the stealth bombers, the mothership was destroyed and immediately exploded in a huge nuclear explosion that generated a huge shockwave. The mothership is ripped apart and crashes into the ground as it emerges from the mushroom cloud. Everyone embraces one another and laughs gleefully at the burning behemoth, but their joy didn't last long. The ship's wreckage appears glowing blue as Jared looks through the telescope. Hundreds of thousands of drone, tanker, and tentacled aliens emerge, swarming the entire city that came from the mothership. They'd watch in bafflement as the alien spaceship slowly ascends back into the air, with more ships and aliens than before. All of the broken-off fragments rise with it and gradually reattach themselves as the smoke from the mushroom cloud clears, self-regenerating. To protect themselves from the blue lights coming from the alien ship, Oliver and Candace put sheets over the windows when a few blinds fell. The group then witnesses a military chopper dropping off soldiers on the rooftop of a neighboring building. Jared decides to take Elaine to the roof, where the military will rescue them. Oliver tries to stop them, but Jared had enough of him. A fight broke out between them, and Jared's eyes became white, and his skin and face became veiny. He claims that the light has given him power, and he will not leave without his family. At first, Elaine is opposed to walking away, but after a talk, Elaine believes him and walks away together. What happened to Jared seems like he was immune to the light's effect. As Candace monitored the happenings outside, she indirectly watched the ship's light and started feeling uneasy and burned. She unlocks the door, steps out, and gets abducted by a squid alien climbing up the building wall. Oliver tries to stop her but is unsuccessful and only makes it out alive. Jared and Elaine observe from the roof that the soldiers are American. From a distance, a naval fleet has just arrived. The alien spaceship is still slowly repairing itself in the distance, not far from the rubble of downtown Los Angeles. It is surrounded by blue light. During another massive aerial combat between the US with little success, Navy jet aircraft engage in combat with flying alien drones and tankers. Another tanker alien scales the other building tongues and destroys a military chopper about to save Jared and Elaine. A rocket launched by the soldiers knocks the tanker off the building, but it gets back up and starts to climb the building's side toward the apartment. Oliver admits defeat because there is nowhere to hide or go now that the windows and blinds have been destroyed. He starts the gas stove, then lets it build up. He flicks a lighter, blows himself and the tanker alien up when it enters the apartment, and tries to tentacle him. Jared and Elaine understand it's evident and hopeless because the aliens are unstoppable when they observe Oliver's fireball from the rooftop. In the stairwell, a squid alien blocks Jared and Elaine's way as they turn around to head back downstairs, charging them through the fire door. Elaine flees as Jared uses a fire axe to fight it off. The squid alien picks up the broken element and reattaches it after Jared cuts off one of its tentacles. The alien squid stabs Jared in the right leg, allowing it to attempt to attach another tentacle to his head as it appears to be getting ready to eat his brain. Elaine picks up the axe and removes the alien's brain while he slithers on the rooftop. Jared bashes the squid alien's head in with a cinder block, then punches it with his fists. Then, in slow motion, he pulls the blue, gooey brain matter and membrane out with his bare hands, seemingly killing it for good. However, even without its brain, the squid alien still won't die and turns to focus on her. As more flying drones, squid, and enormous tanker aliens encircle Elaine and Jared on the rooftop, they continue to ascend higher in search of a safe location. They come face to face with a scorched tanker alien. Jared and Elaine are left lying on the helipad at the top of the skyscraper as the enormous alien spacecraft, which has now fully repaired itself, slowly cruises over it after being struck by an F-22 fighter jet that was hit by another flying alien drone. Numerous more alien ships make a comeback, releasing their blue lights and capturing the city's few survivors. Exhausted and aware that the military and the United States had been completely vanquished by aliens, Elaine and Jared cannot flee as the Navy ships off the coast are on fire and sinking. They both glance up at the hovering UFO and lose hope, giving up. When hoisted up inside the ship, they kiss and hold one another. After everything, Elaine wakes up smeared in black terry gunk inside the alien ship in a dim chamber. There are tentacles and dead humans everywhere, with the aliens sucking the brains of dead people. Farther inside the ship, the brains go through tubes. The decapitated corpses are thrown into a deep pool of liquid to dissipate. Elaine carefully searches through a pile of bloody, goopy dead people for Jared. That's when she saw him, but it was too late. He is sucked out of his body by a tentacled machine just as she finds him. Elaine is angry. A tentacle notices Elaine is pregnant as she is ready to have her brain sucked out. She gets drawn into a bigger tube. The sucked-out brains travel to a facility that creates new aliens, just waiting for a human brain. Most brains are blue-green, but an orange-red brain will occasionally appear. The alien being that receives Jared's brain trembles and is possessed by Jared's consciousness. It is an unusual occurrence, but Jared was quick to catch on. The other pregnant ladies are screamed at and frightened as Elaine spits out into a different chamber where she is covered in tentacles and about to undergo horrific things. After hearing Elaine's voice, Jared Alien bursts through the wall, fending off the tentacles and rescuing her. Elaine was confused about what happened and was scared, but Jared Alien rubbed her face with his new three-fingered paw. His touch caused her heartbeat to beat quickly. The way the alien touched her reminded her of Jared, and she sensed that it was him. Jared Alien stands up gloriously, protecting his love. When more alien tentacles approach him, he takes her up and holds her.